Okay, brothers and sisters, we'll go ahead and get started. We ask that brothers uncover their heads. And we ask that sisters cover their heads, and we're going to open up with the Lord's Prayer. Which way we facing? Straight this way?
Yeah.
Our Father,
who art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done
on earth,
as
it is in heaven.
it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day
our daily bread.
and
forgive us our debts.
As
we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And
lead us.
And lead us not to temptation.
Lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
For
thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And
the glory.
Forever.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
For he is good.
For he is good.
For his mercy endures forever.
For his mercy endures forever.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
For he is good.
For he is good.
For his mercy endures forever.
For his mercy endures forever.
He is the King of kings.
He is the King of kings.
The Lord of lords.
The Lord of lords.
The Alpha.
The Alpha.
The Omega.
The Omega.
Beginning.
The beginning.
And the end.
And the end.
The first.
The first.
And the last.
And the last.
And we gathered here today. Seeking wisdom. And understanding. Through the reading. Hearing. Teaching. And doing. Of your word. These things we ask. In the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Today's scripture reading comes from 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 10 through 12. And it reads, For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that they speak no guile. Let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue it. For the eyes of the Lord are
over the righteous.
And his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against evil and against them that do evil. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading, hearing, and doing of his word. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Not today, bro. You ain't feeling that good. Did you set it off last week for them?
Now they do it last week.
Oh, they still ain't got that blessing yet, huh? All right. Anybody else? We usually open the floor for a little worship, praise and worship. If anybody wants to step up to the plate and give a song worship, or as this man's brother does, he got plenty bars. He just holding out on us today, but it's all good. Nobody else is Jackie?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay.
I want to bring a chauffeur. Give a little toot.
Well, if we not having no singing today, or no rapping, or no any other form of worship, we gonna just go with the Bible says the true worshipers of God, they what? Everybody know?
Sing your prayers.
They said they're gonna seek God in truth, and that's what we're gonna try and do today. Seek Him in truth, and we'll just start right there. First off, I'd like to say grace, peace, and mercy from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Peace to everybody that made it safely to class today. So it's a blessing to make it out here to Oakland. See, we got a new spot. We got a new brother. You said, what was your name again, bro?
Brandon?
Brother Brandon, and your daughters?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Nice meeting you guys. How you doing? I'm Brother Jason. Good to see, always see Devon and Jackie as well. I think I've been a minute since I've seen you guys. I don't think I count you guys last time out. And of course, we got the new spot. We'll go over a disclaimer before we start. I know they said they sent out a group text, but we are not supposed to eat any of the snacks or amenities that they have out there. We were billed for somebody drinking coffee last week. And it wasn't a $16 bill, it had a 0 behind it. Yeah. Right?
Yep.
So that goes for whatever else they got out there. I don't know if that's all they have. What else they got out there?
I don't know. They might have some kind of walk-in thing over there, but right there, that's all I see is like
It's coffee. No
Yeah.
chips, no donuts, no muffins, no coffee cakes, no.
No, but there might be something around
Yeah,
over there. So I
pretty
don't
much.
know.
We want to stay regulated to dealing with the food and drink and beverages, whatever we bring here to class, and stay away from that because they're going to bill us because that's not part of the package that we got and get in the conference room. So other than that, we'll go ahead and get started, I guess. You ready, bro? Okay. The title of today's lesson is The Resurrection of Life and the Resurrection of Damnation. The Resurrection of Life and the Resurrection of Damnation. I did this a couple of weeks ago on Skid Row. You know what Skid Row is, Brother Brandon?
In LA?
Yes, sir. So we go down there every week and we do an outreach down there. We feed, clothe, through the Lord's blessings out of our own pocket. You know what He provides for us. We feed a lot of homeless people, and we've been doing it 2 years going in the pandemic. But we also do a live lesson like we're doing here right now. So I was telling the people when I did the lesson, we don't usually bring up a lot of things concerning, because most of the time when people hear a title like this, or if you tell somebody, I'll just use me an example. Anytime the subject of hell comes up, or heaven, but hell in particular, most people will think you're what? Condemning them, or they shy away from that title, or they shy away from that subject because don't nobody really want to talk about hell. Don't nobody really want to be thinking about hell, let alone hearing about hell, right? So I did the lesson down on Skid Row, and I did it because most of the time we're trying to motivate the people down there despite the condition they're in, if you get what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, our sole purpose is for going down there is to preach this word, brothers and sisters. We know they got physical needs, but at the end of the day, everything we provide for them will not sustain them. Just like us in here, what we eat today, it sustains these bodies right here, brothers and sisters, but food and water are not we cannot live forever no matter how good we eat or drink. We all agree, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's not going to keep us alive forever, right?
Right.
No matter how many. What's your favorite food, Brother Dre?
Pizza.
Pizza, that's your go-to. What's your favorite healthy food?
Salmon.
Okay, salmon. Give me something else. Anybody else got?
Chicken.
Brandon. Healthy, man.
Chicken.
Salad.
Salad.
Thank you, brother. I was looking for something. He catching where I'm trying to go with it. I mean,
That's
chicken.
fried chicken. Chicken. Fresh chicken.
Baked chicken.
Baked.
Okay. You think that's healthier than a salad?
Protein is pretty good for you, man.
Well, we ain't gonna say baked chicken. Regardless of how many salads you eat, and how many fruits and vegetables you eat, it's not gonna be enough to keep us alive forever, right, brothers and sisters?
Right.
So, the title of this lesson is The Resurrection of Life and the Resurrection of Damnation. Brother Brandon, you got your daughters with you here today. I don't know how much Bible they know. They know what resurrection means? Okay. So just a quick disclaimer before we go get into it. Anybody got their phone on? We could probably, well, we ain't gonna read here, we'll just get into the lesson. They got Bibles, huh? One of them do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. So it'll kind of explain itself. It'll kind of explain itself, I think, here in the beginning. But resurrection, well, let's see. We'll touch back on it. We'll pick it up. We're going to start in Job chapter 14. Because the resurrection has to do with living again. That's what resurrection means. Mm-hmm. To live again. Most people's minds, when they think about living again, they focus solely on the living again maybe living eternally, living forever. And that is correct. Like, if God caused death to pass on all of us, meaning we all possibly could die, right? That's a reality, right? So if God is going to make you alive again or resurrect you again, would it make sense that it has something to do, resurrection, with making you alive again for what? To what? Maybe live forever, live eternally, live better than you are or you were living, right? I hope y'all keeping up with me. Resurrection, that's what the lesson is going to be about. But as I mentioned, most people only think of resurrection in the terms of, possibly being in heaven one day, coming back to life, living with God, being with God. All those things are true of the resurrection. But there's another side of the resurrection. That's why the title is the resurrection of life, right? And the resurrection of damnation. We can see from them two, there's a difference between the two of them just looking at the title. Would you agree?
Yes.
Even if we didn't know what it means. Resurrection of life sounds better than the resurrection of damnation, don't it?
Yes.
Yes, sir, Brother Aaron?
Yes, sir.
I got you. I like Brother Aaron because I like that brother got a good sense of humor. So when I got him chuckling, I know he laughing. But we're going to take our time, make sure sis is with us. We're going to start at Job 14. Job chapter 14. Job chapter 14. Job chapter 14, we're going to pick it up at verse 1. This is traditionally what is said to be the oldest book in the Bible. Excuse me. Predates the first 5 books of the Bible, according to historians, right? Job lived before Moses. He lived before Jacob. And anyhow, Job is supposed to be, his life, he lived before Moses even was born. So the book makes sense that, it would be an older book. But anyway, Job 14. Let's see what was on this man's mind many thousands of years ago. Let's see how he was talking. Let's see what type of understanding he had. Let's see what he was concerned with. Job chapter 14, we'll pick it up at verse 1. When you get there, brother, skip down after you finish 1, skip to 5, and we'll go from there. Go ahead.
Man that is born of a woman is of few days and full of trouble.
One more time, my brother.
Man that is born of a woman is of few days and full of trouble.
Man that is born of a woman, that be all of us, right?
Yes.
We all born of a woman, right? That's where we came from, right? One way or the other. Yeah?
Yes.
We all born of a woman. It says, he is of a few days, because it say man there. Don't think it ain't talking about woman too, right? Man, woman is part of man, correct?
Yes.
Man that is born of a woman is a few days and full of what, Brother Aaron?
Full of trouble.
Full of trouble. Maybe your daughters don't know nothing about that, like my daughters don't really know nothing about that, because we ain't trying to expose them to no trouble, right?
Right.
But when they get older and get our age, Brother Brandon, maybe even in their teenage years, the trouble start coming, don't it? And in this case, the Lord is talking about, when it says few days, he's talking about basically time, right? Not man isn't around a long time. And when you're young, you don't understand that. But as you get older, you start realizing, I'm getting older. I'm getting closer to the time when people have things start to happen to them, such as death. Maybe your grandmother, you start approaching half of your grandmother's age, or your grandfather or auntie, or you start realizing that you may be that age one day, and you might end up like them if you've experienced death in your family before. So man that is born of a woman is a few days full of trouble. Skip down to verse 5.
Seeing his days are determined, The number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
Okay, so verse 5 says, seeing his days are determined, right? The number of his months are with you, talking about God. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. We can't decide how old we gonna be, huh? No way, huh? I can't wake up tomorrow and I say, you know what? I know I'm gonna be 150. I don't care what nobody say. I'm gonna live. I guarantee you, I'm gonna live to 150 years old. No, it don't work like that, huh? God has put a bound on us that we cannot pass, right? And we can come up way short of 150. We can't even guarantee that we'll make it to 50 years old, 75, 30, right? Because it's a lot more to that full of trouble as well, right? Because the world is full of trouble. And anyway, that's a different lesson. But it says that man's days are determined. Skip down to verse 7.
For there is hope of a tree, if it be cut down, that it will sprout again, and that the tender branch thereof will not cease.
Everybody keeping up with this? We kind of switch gears. We talking about a tree now. What are we talking about? I mean, it says there is hope of a tree, right? If a tree get cut down, if they cut that tree down right there, right? That it what? It might what? It might grow again after it get cut, right? And that the tender branch, that don't mean it's over just because you cut the tree, right? Cut it down. Keep going, verse 8.
Though the root thereof wax old in the earth, and the stock thereof die in the ground.
It could be dead a long time, is what it's saying there, right? You might cut that tree and it might just be a stump over there with some roots. And it'll just look like, man, I wonder how long that been there, right? How long that tree been dead, right? Though the root thereof wax old in the earth, the stock thereof die in the ground, verse 9.
Yet through the scent of water it will bud, and bring forth boughs like a plant. But man dieth and wasteth away. Yea, man giveth up the ghost, and where is he?
And I should have chimed in there after verse 9. It says, yet through the scent of water it will bud. The tree will bud, huh? Like if you got an old, if the root is dead, the stump is dead, if nobody's watered it in a long time, that might be the reason why it never grew back, right? And then it said it might bring forth boughs like a plant. It might look like it look right now, or, you know, I'm looking at this one. I don't know if y'all can see that one, but it might have an opportunity to look nice and healthy like this tree does right here again. You could cut it down and it could come back maybe even better than it was, right? Taller, stronger branches, more leaves on it, right? But then verse 10, now read it, brother Aaron.
But man dieth and wasteth away.
But man dieth and wasteth away. Keep going.
Yea, man giveth up the ghost, and where is he?
So the ghost is talking about the spirit. Like I just took that yawn and took that deep breath right now. If we don't have that in us, we're dead. And it says man gives that up when he dies, right? Verse 11.
As the waters fail from the sea, and the flood decayeth and drieth up, so man lieth down and riseth not, till the heavens be no more. They shall not awake, nor be raised out of their sleep.
Okay, so verse 10 at the end of that, it said, where is man when he dies? We get the answer in verse 12, huh? So man lie down, he don't rise. Notice it says, till the heavens be no more. They shall not what? Awake, nor be raised out of their sleep. The Bible is likening death unto what? Like someone sleeping, right? Anybody that's been to a funeral and you've seen your loved one, or maybe they weren't your loved one, it was you knew the person, they were a friend, and you saw them and you're like, man, they look like they just sleep over there. But they're what? They're dead. But they look asleep, right? And that's what we're reading here. Man lies down, he doesn't rise till the heavens be no more. They shall not awake, nor be raised out of their sleep, it says there, right? 13.
Oh, that thou wouldest hide me in the grave.
This Job talking now. It's getting realer, right? We talking about sleeping. Now we talking about where you be sleep at when you dead, huh? Oh, that you would hide me in the grave. Keep going.
That thou wouldest keep me secret until thy wrath be past. That thou wouldest appoint me a set time and remember me.
Come on.
If a man die, shall he live again?
That's a good question. If a man die, shall he live again? Right? Keep going.
All the days of my appointed time will I wait till my change comes.
Till my change come. This is, they got songs written about this, right? Till my change come, huh? Off of this scripture right here in the Bible, you got gospel songs. Job is saying, hey, hide me in the grave, God, until your wrath be past. He knew it was going to come a day when God was going to pour out some wrath on this earth. And he's saying, man, hide me in the ground. I don't want to be alive when that happens. Some of us might not. If we really got some wisdom, you should have some understanding. You don't really want to be around when that happens too. Because it's a chance you could be caught up in that wrath. But that's something that we ain't dealing with that right now. But Job is saying, hide me in the grave, Lord. That thou wouldest appoint me a set time, right? And remember me. Don't forget me, God. Don't forget. Because obviously, Job knew he was going to be what? Dead for how long? A long time. You don't tell somebody, remember me, and it just happened yesterday, right? He ain't got to tell God. We ain't got to. If I die today, or if I die tomorrow, I don't need to be thinking, well, on Friday, Lord, remember that I died on Tuesday, right? I'm pretty sure God got a good enough memory to know when I died, right? So it says all the days, we got to 14. If a man dies, shall he live again? That's the question, brothers and sisters. And then he says, all the days of my appointed time will I wait till my change come. Wonder what that's talking about, right? And we'll get into that towards the end of the lesson. We're going to go to John chapter 11 now. John chapter 11. John chapter 11. If a man dies, shall he live again? Let's go look at an example of a man who died and he actually got the opportunity to live again. But we're going to see that the live again that Job is talking about is not the one we're reading about here, even though this is an example. Can't get no, well, I don't want to say you can't get no better example, but from my understanding, Jesus couldn't make it no more plainer than this. We're going to pick it up at John chapter 11, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. When you get there, Brother Aaron, go ahead.
Now a certain man was sick, named Lazarus, of Bethany, the town of Mary, and her sister Martha.
Okay, come on.
It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with ointment, and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick.
Okay, so it's giving us some background on who Lazarus was. Verse 3.
Therefore his sisters sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick.
Lazarus is sick. Verse 4.
When Jesus heard that, he said, This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby.
Okay, keep going.
Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus.
So we learning more information here. Jesus loved these people when he walked the earth, right? They were friends unto him. And he said in verse 4, he said, Lazarus, he's not going to be sick unto death. I'm going to glorify God in his sickness. Verse 6.
When he had heard therefore that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was.
Okay, so Jesus didn't hurry up and leave and go, man, my buddy's sick. Let me go check on him. No, it said he waited there 2 days, right? Most of us don't do that. If we find out one of our loved ones is sick, right? We going to go check on them ASAP, right?
Yeah.
Jesus didn't do that, did he?
No.
It says he stayed 2 days where he was at. Verse 7, did we read that?
No.
Come on.
Then after that saith he to his disciples, Let us go into Judea again.
Okay, so he said after that, then we going to go to Judea again. Pick it up at verse 11.
These things said he, and after that he saith unto them, Our friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep.
Okay, so he told the disciples afterwards, hey, we gonna go wake up. He's asleep. Lazarus is asleep.
Yeah.
We gonna go wake his butt up, right? That's me putting that twist on it. He probably didn't say it like that, right? But I had to put emphasis on this because this is what it said he said, right? That we gonna go wake him up. He's asleep. Let's see what the disciples thought, verse 12.
Then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well.
Man, if he's sleeping, he's sick, he probably rested, right? He all right? Verse 13.
Howbeit Jesus spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking of rest in sleep.
See, they really thought he meant he was asleep. Like it says, like he was taking a nap. It don't say that, right? It says taking rest in his sleep, right? Verse 14, then what Jesus had to tell them.
Then said Jesus unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead.
Man, Lazarus is dead, man. I know I said he's asleep, but I thought y'all figured it out that he dead, right? So let's skip down to verse 17. Let's see what happens next.
Then when Jesus came, he found that he had lain in the grave 4 days already.
Who in the grave 4 days already, Aaron?
Lazarus.
Lazarus in the ground, in the grave, or however they buried people in them days.
Right.
He 4 days already dead. Verse 18.
Now Bethany was nigh unto Jerusalem, about 15 furlongs off.
Come on.
And many of the Jews came to Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother.
Oh yeah, it's a big turnout. They're there to support them. Their brother has died. And all the people came out that was in the surrounding areas. Verse 20.
Then Martha, as soon as she heard that Jesus was coming, went and met him. But Mary sat still in the house.
Okay, so let's see what Martha said.
Then said Martha unto Jesus, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. But I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask of God, God will give it.
You see how Martha talking? She said, but if you had been here, Jesus, my brother wouldn't have died. And I know whatever you ask God for, he will give it to you. Verse 23.
Jesus said unto her, Thy brother shall rise again.
So he told her, he straight up told her, your brother is going to rise again, Martha. Let's see what she thinking. Like I said, people, we the ones that's dumb nowadays. The people in the Bible knew how life, I guess you could say, I don't want to sound Lion Kingish. They knew the what? The circle of life, brothers and sisters. Thank you, sis, how things are. They knew how things are and how they are after, right? That would be more accurate, right? So, 23, Jesus said to her, your brother, he shall rise again. Verse 24.
Martha saith unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day.
You see what she told Jesus? Yeah, I know my brother gonna rise again. And she even says, when it's gonna happen, huh? In the last day. That's that word resurrection, the first time we seeing it, right? I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. I know he gonna come up again. I know he gonna be alive again one day. Let's see what Jesus said though.
Jesus said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live.
If you believe in me, though you were dead, yet he shall live. 26.
And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believest thou this?
Believest thou this? This is what he told Martha, right? Do you believe this? And she just said, I know he gonna live again one day on the last day. And I particularly really went here for verse 24. But 25 and 26 gives us a little bit more information. And I didn't do it when we on Skid Row because I would like to think you guys are more probably versed in the Bible. I don't know the crowd or the I guess I said that right. The audience when I'm on Skid Row. There's no telling who's out there listening to us. So I don't get into it too deep, right? Just read it and keep it moving. But here, we're reading here, Jesus said, whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall what? No, he said shall never die.
Yeah.
Now we know this can't be true, right? when I say it can't be true, he can't be talking about no regular death, can he?
Right.
Right, he got to be talking about something deeper. All of Jesus' disciples that walk with him, according to history, except for John, the disciple, they all did what? After Jesus died and resurrected, what happened to his disciples?
He died.
They all passed away.
Yeah, they all passed away. They all died. We know they all believed in Jesus, huh?
Yep.
That's why he chose them as his disciples. So when Jesus says, whoever liveth and believes in me shall never die, he can't be talking about no regular death. Just food for thought, brothers and sisters. Like I said, we ain't going to stay focused on that. I really came here for verse 24. Martha said, I know. Just like Job said, right? Hide me in the grave. Set a what? An appointed time. Martha knew when the appointed time was, huh? She said, on the last day, Lord. I know that's when he going to live again. Let's go further. Let's go to John chapter 6. John chapter 6. Now what we're going to read next takes place after Jesus performed the miracle of feeding 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fishes. Anybody ever heard that before?
Yeah.
That Jesus fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fishes, right? We're going to read what Jesus said after he did that miracle. John chapter 6. Everybody there? John chapter 6. When you get to verse 24, we're going to be reading for a minute in here. John chapter 6, verse 24. Go ahead.
When the people therefore saw that Jesus was not there, neither his disciples, they also took shipping and came to Capernaum.
Okay, so they looking for Jesus, right? Anybody that fed 5,000 people, like I said, with 5 loaves of bread and 2 pieces of fish, they gonna be looking for you, brothers and sisters. I'm just here to tell y'all, if y'all ever have that power, once y'all do it, y'all better watch out. But we know that Jesus performed a miracle, and you know, not more than likely that's not something that the average person just goes around doing, right? Yeah. We know that Jesus did that because he was, I was going to say the man. He was more than the man, right? He was the Christ. Right. He was the anointed one. So the people looking for Jesus, right, after he fed them. We picked it up at 24. And then it says they was on the seaside, wondering where he at. Verse 26, they found him, right? Did we read 25?
No.
Read 25 then, or read 24 again, and we read it again.
When the people therefore saw that Jesus was not there, neither his disciples, they also took shipping and came to Capernaum, seeking for Jesus. And when they had found him on the other side of the sea, they said unto him, Rabbi, when camest thou hither?
Man, when you get back? We've been looking for you, Lord. Verse 26. Come on. Let's see what Jesus say to these people.
Jesus answered them and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, ye seek me, not because ye saw the miracles, but because ye did eat of the loaves and were filled.
You see how Jesus had to tell these folks? He said, truly, because that's what verily mean. Truly, truly, I say unto you, you not looking for me because of me. You looking for me because you ate that food yesterday and I fed all y'all and you had I filled your belly up, huh? That's what he's telling them the real, brothers and sisters. Because when I did this on Skid Row, I had to tell the people. I know some of them people come down every Saturday. Why you think they line up in that line every week? Because they already know, they already conditioned. We've done it every Saturday for 100 weeks plus. It's 52 weeks in a year, right? Amen. We've been out there more than 2 years. So that's over 100 Saturdays. And before we get down here, where all these poor people are at, they're already gathered already because what? They have faith that we're going to be there because we've been consistent, right? And on top of that, it's just call it what it is. They're hungry, most of them, not all of them. They're thirsty. A lot of them need clothes. They busted. Y'all know what busted mean, right? they're doing bad.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to work on not using so many slang words. They're doing real bad, not all of them. My point being is, they're there because do you think they're there for this lesson like I'm doing a lesson right now? They know we're going to do a lesson. Or do you think they're there for that food and all that, and the water and the clothes and the toiletries, you know, toothpaste, soap? That's why they're there, brothers and sisters. And it's nothing against them. We're there to help them with those things. But as I mentioned, our sole purpose is to what? Give them this word. And what do you think most of the people do after they get their food or their water or whatever we have?
They leave it on.
They keep on going, right?
Yep.
They don't stick around and be like, oh, I can't wait for this lesson now. No. Because they concerned about physical things, and we're trying to make them aware that it's the spiritual things that are needed. But, you know, Lord willing, it's up to God to draw people unto him. We just got to do our job. So Jesus said, verily, verily, I say unto you, you don't seek me because you saw that miracle, but because you did eat of the loaves and were filled and you want some more. He could have said, right? But I don't want to put no words in the Bible, right? You ready to break bread again. You ready for round 2. That's me saying that, right? Believe me, we've had them people down on Skid Row. Y'all gonna be out here tomorrow? Like, no, we ain't gonna be out here tomorrow. Because they already thinking about it. They want to know if we gonna have some food for them the next day. But anyway, what do Jesus tell them in verse 27?
Labor not for the meat which perisheth, but for that meat which endureth unto everlasting life,
Oh, okay.
which the Son of Man shall give unto you, for he hath God that the Father sealed.
For him have God the Father sealed, right? So 27, Jesus telling him, hey, don't be working for the meat which what? That dies, right? But for that meat which what? That gives everlasting life. Meat he talking about, right? That's the example. He's talking about meat. We will agree he's talking about meat.
Yeah.
But we ought to know he ain't talking about no literal meat, right?
Right.
In the first part, he's talking about literal meat, isn't he? Because all the chicken that Brother Jaime like, that healthy chicken he was talking about, right?
Yeah.
When you eat that chicken, is it alive or is it dead?
Dead.
And that dead food go in your body,
Yep.
and then that food will come out your body, don't it?
Eventually.
Unfortunately, right? Whether we want to get that graphic or not, right? That meat don't stay with you, huh?
Nope.
The meat that Jesus talking about, that's that another type of meat. That's going to be what? Remember I started off the lesson saying no matter how good we eat in this life, real food, it ain't going to give us everlasting life, right? We ain't going to come close. It ain't going to extend our longevity, right? Jesus saying, you better work for that meat which what? Endureth unto everlasting life. He says, which I have. That's what he's saying here. Which the Son of Man, he was the Son of Man. He said, I'll give it unto you. For him have God the Father sealed. Are we still going here? Because I didn't turn my page. Yeah, keep going. We got a long way to go. Verse 28. What did they say to Jesus after he said this?
Then said they unto him, what shall we do, that we might work the works of God?
Okay, they asked the question. You said don't work for meat that die. Work for some meat that'll give us some life. Then they said unto him, what shall we do, that we might work the works of God? What Jesus say in 29?
Jesus answered and said unto them, this is the work of God, that ye believe on him whom he has sent.
Oh, it started right there, huh? But we're not here for that. Keep going.
They said therefore unto him, what sign showest thou then, that we may see and believe thee? What dost thou work?
What kind of work you putting in, Jesus? I mean, he already fed 5,000 people, right? We read he raised Lazarus from the dead, whether he had did it or not at this point, because that was in chapter 12 or something like that, right? Or 11, right? He hadn't did that one yet. And believe me, when he raised Lazarus from the dead, that's when he really got the hate. Yeah? They was really trying to kill him, which sound crazy, right? A man that is raising people from the dead. First of all, that's somebody that we ought to be listening to, right? And see what he on. But it says the religious people in those days got jealous of him. Because they said, surely now, after he done raised a man from the dead, the whole world is going to go after him, they said. And he says they started really plotting on ways to kill him. That's how much trouble, that's how backwards the world is, brothers and sisters. But anyway, it says here, they asking Jesus, what sign? Show us a sign. Jesus already been showing signs and miracles ever since he started his ministry, right? Show us a sign that we can know what type of work you putting in. 31, go ahead.
Our fathers did eat manna in the desert, as it is written. He gave them bread from heaven to eat.
Now we all familiar with that, right? They said our fathers did eat manna in the desert, out in the wilderness. As it's written, we can read that. He gave them bread from heaven to eat. Everybody familiar with that? Maybe not, maybe, okay. They ate bread that came down from heaven. Not no bread from the store. Yeah? Nah, not no bread that your grandmama made, right? Not no cornbread in the oven. God rained bread from heaven. This is what they telling Jesus. Like, can you do better than that? Keep going, go ahead.
Then Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven.
Not that bread, huh? I like the way you read that, Aaron. Not that bread. He said Moses didn't give you not that bread from heaven, but what?
But my Father giveth you the true bread from heaven.
True bread, verse 33.
For the bread of God is he which cometh down from heaven, and giveth life unto the world.
He telling them, I'm the true bread right here in front of y'all, but y'all can't accept it. Keep going.
Then said they unto him, Lord, evermore give us this bread.
He got them going. They said, ooh, we want some of that. You the bread? We give us some. Come on.
And Jesus said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst.
He putting some stuff out there, huh? You ain't gonna never be hungry after you eat this bread? You ain't gonna never be thirsty no more after this bread? Come on.
But I said unto you, that ye also have seen me, and believe not.
He telling them, y'all just talking.
All,
Keep going.
sorry.
That was my fault. Go ahead.
Okay. All that the Father giveth me shall come to me, and him that cometh to me I will in no wise cast out.
Verse 38.
For I came down from heaven.
Jesus said, I came down from heaven, not from a mama, huh? Like I read, huh? Not from a woman, huh? He did, but before that, he's saying he came from heaven. Yes?
Yeah.
Do any of us think we came from heaven before our mama had us?
No.
Nah. Just making sure. Because Jesus putting out some strong language right here, right? I said unto you, or excuse me, he says here, verse 38, for I came down from heaven, go ahead.
Not to do mine own will, but the will of him that sent me.
He said, I'm not doing what I want to do. I'm doing what God sent me to do, the Father, verse 39.
And this is the Father's will which hath sent me, that of all which he hath given me I should lose nothing, but should raise it up again at the last day.
There that statement go again, huh? About raising something up at the last day. Whatever the Father give me, I'm going to raise it up at the last day. Verse 40.
And this is the will of him that sent me, that everyone which seeth the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up at the last day.
At the last day. This is what we're reading about. The title again is Resurrection of Life and the Resurrection of Damnation. We're reading about some people being resurrected or raised up on the last day. Jesus saying that he gonna do this. Go ahead, verse 41. What did the Jews say when he said this?
The Jews then murmured at him, because he said, I am the bread which came down from heaven.
Oh, they tripping like, some of them was tripping like, who you the bread that came down from heaven, boy? You talking big over there. Verse 42.
And they said, Is not this Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know?
Ain't this Jesus? We know this Negro. Right?
Yeah.
We know his mom and daddy. Ain't this Joseph boy?
Yep.
whose father and mother we know? Go ahead, how what?
How is it then that he saith, I came down from heaven?
I do my best, brothers and sisters, because King James is hard, right? How is it then that he said, I come down from heaven? This is what they asked him. This fool done lost his mind. I mean, this is the real, brothers and sisters. If I came in here today and I told y'all, hey, brothers and sisters, I'm one of the teachers out here, you know, for ICOJ. I'm the only one that came down from heaven. I wouldn't even made it to this far in the lesson at this point. Y'all been called Elijah. You would have been called Brian somebody, right? Man, the brother that you brought out here to teach today, talking about he came down from heaven. He's the bread, the true bread. So we got to keep it real, brothers and sisters. We read these scriptures. These people was tripping on Jesus because he's saying, hey, I came down from heaven. I done told you already. You see what I be doing, but you won't believe me, right? That's what he told them. Jesus therefore said what? Verse 43, sorry.
Jesus therefore answered and said unto them, Murmur not among yourselves. No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him. And I will raise him up at the last day.
What is Jesus talking about? No man can come to me. He pretty much telling them, you can murmur all you want. Don't even worry about it. Because you can't come to me unless what? The Father draw you. Is that what it say? Yeah. Unless the Father which hath sent me, he draw you to him. Through me. That's what he's telling us here. And then he say that individual, will we agree he talking about individuals here? Mm-hmm. And I will raise him up at the last day, right? Mm-hmm. Keep going.
It is written in the prophets, and they shall be all taught of God. Every man therefore that hath heard and hath learned of the Father cometh unto me.
You see Jesus talking big stuff again, brothers and sisters. Anybody other than you ever meet somebody else in your life that talk like this, you better run. Or if you don't run, you better say, you lying? It's only one that I know of who ever spoke like that, and that's my Christ, my Messiah, my Savior, right? Read it again, verse 45.
It is written in the prophets, and they shall be all taught of God. Every man, therefore, that hath heard and hath learned of the Father cometh unto me.
Verse 46.
Not that any man that hath seen the Father, save he which is of God, he hath seen the Father. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me hath everlasting life.
This is what we're talking about now, right? The title was the resurrection of life. Now we get the idea of what type of life. Everlasting life. Everlasting means you don't never what? Die, brothers and sisters. Keep going.
I am that bread of life. Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead.
Think about that, brothers and sisters. Like I said, I didn't have time to go into it down on Skid Row because there's so many distractions. If you really think about that, just think about it. God rained some bread down from the sky.
Right.
They ate that.
Right.
And they still what? They still die, brothers and sisters. I mean, that just lets you know that it ain't nothing you can put in your mouth literally. Because obviously, that's kind of like the road. I'm just going to give a little sidebar. I work at UCLA, right? And I see these, there's a big movement now. I didn't know how big it was, you know, for people are vegan, like for real. Mm-hmm. Like, he know, right? He probably even know, like, they look at you different. They find out you still eat meat. Like, that's supposed to be like, you still eat meat, bruh? Like, get with it. It's 2022. Ain't nobody drinking no cow milk and eating no hamburgers. And they real health conscious is what I'm trying to say. And the point I'm making is, they fail to realize, now I get it. There's a such thing as healthy and healthier. I'm not diminishing that. But at the end of the day, the longer they live, I don't care how many Beyond sausages they eat, right? How much tofu?
Right, right.
Grass what? Well, it can't be grass fed because they don't eat meat, right? What'd you say, Sister Jackie?
No, I'm just saying grass, just.
Oh, grass? Or yeah, some of them eat
Greens and.
green, however many greens and what's the word I'm looking for? Organic vegetables and fruits they eat. Have they figured out one that will keep you alive forever?
Nope.
No, brothers and sisters. But these people ate something better than that. Would you agree?
Yes.
They ate something that came down out of the sky, and they looked at it. The Bible says it was like, what is that? That's what manna means. Manna means what is that? As I did the lesson in Vegas, I said you can't go to the store and get that. But my point is that bread was not enough to sustain them. Read it one more time. I'll do my brother Elijah old school impression. Y'all don't hear me. What did Jesus say in verse 49, Brother Aaron?
Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead.
They ate manna in the wilderness and they dead. Keep going.
This is the bread which cometh down from heaven, that a man may eat thereof and not die.
So he had to be doing like this. Would you agree?
Right.
In verse 50, he had to say, this is the bread. Yes?
Right.
Because they wouldn't have known what he's talking about unless he was like, this is the bread, talking about himself, which come down from heaven that a man may eat. And what? He not going to die, right? Keep going. Verse 51, he going to really put it on them right here. Go ahead.
I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world.
Okay, keep going.
The Jews therefore strove among themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat?
See, they always thinking physical, right? Yep. They thinking Jesus talking about really, you got to eat me. Eat my body. And he ain't talking about that. Because they cannot fix their mind to consider. They dealing with a spiritual individual, right? Who's doing miracles from a spiritual being. He got to be talking about spiritual things, right? He can't always be talking about physical things. So they said, how is he going to give us his flesh to eat? What Jesus say, 53?
Then Jesus said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, except ye eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, ye have no life in you.
54.
Whoso eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood hath eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day.
At the last day, brothers and sisters. I'm trying to stay on the theme, brothers and sisters. He said, whoever do this, that's why it's of the utmost importance to keep the Passover, brothers and sisters. Because it's a place where Jesus said, if you don't drink that, you ain't got no part in me, he says. If you don't drink the blood and keep and take the bread that's symbolic of his body being crucified for us, and when we drink the wine, that's symbolic of the blood that he shed for us. Right. That's what he's talking about here. We all know that, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Let's just read the other two, 55 and 56. I think I stopped at 54. Because because if you just stop right there, somebody in here, then you can imagine if you telling somebody, you can only imagine how hard it was for them to understand when Jesus said, you better eat my body, you better drink my blood, and I'm going to raise you up on the last day. They had to be messed up in the head. But he tries to explain himself. Jesus do his best. 55.
For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwelleth in me, and I in him.
Okay, so there it is. That's the one I was trying to quote right there. He says, it's another place where say, you don't dwell in me if you don't do that. But let's move on. The key there is, he said, whoever does that, eat his flesh and drink his blood, they going to be raised up. He's going to raise them up on the last day. Let's go to John chapter 5. John chapter 5. We'll back up just a little bit. John chapter 5. And then now things will probably get moving. Because we don't realize the resurrection means to live again, and it means to what? Live forever. Now we gonna see what type of living forever you can be involved in. Because the title of the lesson, once again, is what? Resurrection of life. Most people know about that.
Yeah.
That Jesus promised to have people living raise people from the dead so they can live forever with him. They forget the part where he say, I'm going to make some people live forever again, and it's going to be all bad while they living forever. But we're going to get to it. We're going to get to the resurrection of damnation. John chapter 5, pick it up at verse 24. Go ahead.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that heareth my word and believeth on him that sent me hath everlasting life.
See, before we read, he just said, he that believeth on me, right? Now he say, he that what? Hear my word. So it's more to it than just believing in Jesus, huh? You got to hear his word and believe on him that sent me, talking about the Father. That person have what? Everlasting life. Go ahead.
And shall not come into condemnation, but is passed from death unto life.
He's not going to be condemned, verse 25.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, the hour is coming, and now is, when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and they that hear shall live.
That's all we've been reading about so far, right? Is people hearing God's voice. Job talking about remember me, right? Martha saying, I know my brother going to live again on the last day. Yep. Jesus just said over and over again, I'm going to raise people up on the last day. They going to have everlasting life, right? Yep. Verse 25, truly, truly, I say unto you, the hour is coming. Remember, Job said a set time, huh? The hour is coming, and now is when the dead shall what? It's going to come a time when they hear the voice of Jesus, and they that hear shall live. 26.
For as the Father hath life in himself, so hath he given to the Son to have life in himself.
We've already read Jesus say that several times. Verse 27.
And hath given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man.
Oh yeah, he's the one, like I said. He's more than just the man. He's the one. Verse 28.
Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the graves shall hear his voice.
In the which what, brother?
All that are in the graves shall hear his voice.
One more time. In the which?
All that are in the graves shall hear his voice.
All that are in the graves. That's what we need to catch in that verse right there. All. Not just some.
Yeah.
It's going to come a time in which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice. Verse 29.
And shall come forth, they that have done good until the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil until the resurrection of damnation.
Uh-oh, hold up now. Obviously, this is where I got the title of the lesson from, right? It says, it's going to come a time which them that have done good, they going to come up in the resurrection of life.
Right.
But them that have done evil going to come up in the what?
Resurrection of damnation.
Yes, sir. We didn't make this stuff. We don't make this stuff up right here. I don't, like they say, Brother Bowie used to say in theology, I don't have a lake of fire to put you in. This is what this individual in the Bible, which is known as Christ, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, whatever you want to call him. He's saying this in verse 29, isn't he? It's going to come a time where they shall come forth, they're going to hear my voice. Them that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. Let's go to Daniel 12 and 2. We go into the Old Testament. Daniel 12, one verse. Because like I said, Jesus was around here telling the people about, hey, believe in me. I got something for you. I'm going to give you life eternal. And we didn't read too much about how life was going to be while you living forever. But now we got another, what would you call it? We got something else on the table, right?
Yep.
Yes.
It's two different type of resurrections. Well, yeah, there's the resurrection of life, and there's the resurrection of damnation. Two different meaning. One is you're going to be doing one thing. and the other one you're gonna be doing something else. But you both of them gonna be made alive again. Right? Both of the good and the evil individuals that ever lived got something coming in the future. And you know, one thing I forgot that I did at the beginning of the lesson, it was kind of the motivation. Brother Lee in Toronto, if you ever get a chance, that's the brother I started with. Man, that brother, you know, he doing big things because, you know, we put a lot on that brother. They just put it like that. He got a big responsibility. He stepped up tremendously out there, right? And my point I was going to get is he was doing a lesson I recently had looked at, and shoot, maybe Sister Jackie might not make me feel bad. I'm going to ask her, and then I'll work my way down. And then I'll ask Aaron. I know Aaron though, because Aaron hip. Jackie might know too. I'm the one I thought I was hip. Do you know what YOLO mean?
No.
Do you know what YOLO mean?
No.
Anna, do you know what YOLO mean? You know what YOLO mean? Tell him what YOLO. Oh, Sister Devonna, do you know what YOLO mean? Okay. You know we live in the world of acronyms, right? Can you tell them what YOLO mean?
You only live once.
Oh,
Yeah, I know what YOLO mean, huh? Your daughter, did you think I should have asked your daughters? I messed up the opportunity. Your older one probably would have known. Did you know Brandon?
No.
You didn't know? Okay, so I know you probably I don't know if you my age, but you probably younger than me. You in your 30s?
38.
Oh yeah, you right there neck and neck, and I know Dre know for sure.
I got another one. Yanked out of Lucifer's oppression.
That's a personal one?
No, yanked out of Lucifer's
That's
oppression.
one that's floating around?
No, that's one for us.
Oh, okay, well hey, we ain't
You know what I'm saying?
gonna go there. Yeah, you killing yanked out of Lucifer. That ain't what YOLO mean, what
No,
he just said.
No.
You only live once.
You only live once.
Live it up.
That was the inspiration for this lesson. Cause is that true that you only live once?
Yes. On earth.
Physically.
Based on what we read so far in this lesson, do you only live once without even really getting into some
Once
meat?
in the flesh and one and
Technically.
then in the spirit.
Technically speaking.
No, you're gonna live if you get eternal life.
Everybody's coming back.
Let's see. Joe said, hey, that's what it's all about, Joe. That means Joe in it, his wheels are spinning. He think he just lived once. Let's see.
All right.
We've been reading all this time. Jesus said, I'm going to raise him up at the last day.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of asked, do we know what resurrection means? It means to make alive again.
Yeah.
So that can't be you can't be living a life like okay, well, I don't want to get too deep. Just for hypothetical speaking. Okay, I'm going to use Joseph. What do you want to be when you grow up?
A paramedic.
Okay. If you die and you achieve the opportunity to become a paramedic, right? To go into the profession that you want. Let's just say hypothetically 40 years from now, you die, 50 years from now, right? Okay, if Jesus wake you up again from the grave, he resurrect you, right? Do you think you're going to be a paramedic?
No.
So that life that you only live once, you technically is kind of right? But just in the motivation for doing the lesson is, you don't live only once, Brother Joseph, according to what we read. That's what this is all about. You don't live only once. But let's see, Daniel chapter 12, verse 2. That's what I meant to bring that disclaimer in, but I'm glad I remembered it. Because I seen YOLO all the time, people texting, and I don't know, I just seen it. I don't know where. I'm not a big social media guy, but I know I've seen it probably on the Instagram post, a Twitter post, or something like that. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know what the heck it meant. But then I realized, oh, that's what it is. You only live once. And they use it, Dre could probably attest to this.
Yeah.
YOLO is an expression to say what? You only live once, so you might as well what?
Go ahead and turn up.
Yep.
Turn up.
Yep.
Live your life to the fullest. Have all the fun you can have.
Yep.
whatever your heart desires.
Yep.
Because after this life is over, it's over. Let's see. Daniel chapter 2, Daniel chapter 12, verse 2.
Yeah.
When you get there, my brother, let's read it.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
One more time. Like I said, we didn't write this.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake,
Yep.
some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
Many of them that sleep, which we know it ain't talking about sleep, right? But to God, that's all dead people are, is what? Asleep. Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth, right? Not in a bed, huh? Not on the couch, huh? That sleep in the dust of the earth shall wake. Some to what?
Everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
So that's letting you know something there, huh? Whatever everlasting life is, it can't be everlasting shame and contempt, huh?
Right.
But let's go further, Kyle. I'm just noticing stuff while I'm reading like, whoa, like, that's not the same. Everlasting life and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Why they gonna be shamed? I wonder why. Let's see if we can get a mental picture of what these resurrections look like. Luke chapter 16. Y'all know where we going. Or once we get here, y'all be like, okay. Luke chapter 16. Luke chapter 16. We're going to pick it up at verse 19. I dropped the ball last week and started at 20. And I was wondering why it wasn't adding up like the way I wanted it to. Luke 16, we're going to pick it up at verse 19. Go ahead.
There was a certain rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores.
Okay, so we got the picture here, right?
Yep.
You got one man that it just calls what? The rich man, right? He was clothed in purple, right? And fine linen, meaning he was dressed nice all the time. Had a closet full of what?
Nice clothes.
Armani's, thank you, my brother. Yeah, that brother know his stuff. He looking good. He dressed sharp all the time. He was rich, right? Fine linen. And then it says, he fared sumptuously. Every day?
Every day.
Every day. Every day he ball and got it going on. Yeah, Dre?
Right.
He don't never have a bad day. In terms of material things, right?
Got it.
Everything's at his disposal.
Yeah.
Right? Then what? Verse 20.
And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores.
You mean to tell me outside his house he had a man outside the gate that was begging? Who's he begging? The rich man, right?
Yeah.
He got to be begging him for something, right? We know what a beggar is, huh? You done pulled up in the liquor store with your daughters, right, Brother Brandon? Right? We know what a beggar is, right? They ain't just start having beggars in our day, according to what we reading, right?
Right.
There was a certain beggar named Lazarus, not to be confused with the Lazarus that Jesus raised from the dead, right? It says he was laid at his gate full of sores, right? We know what a sore is, right?
Yeah.
Verse 21, and he was what?
Desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table.
I mean, he was begging just to get a crumb off the rich man's table, not a plate. It must have been the reason why he didn't fix his lips to ask for no plate from this guy. Man, just let me go through your trash. Cause you know how people is, boy. I know I got some neighbors now. They get mad if I go in their trash can. I just be looking to see if the trash man ran. That's it. I done heard some stuff. Yes, such and such across the street be looking in my trash can. And how long was I looking in your trash can for? That should have had common sense to tell you. Now, if I'm in your trash can, just in there digging and digging and digging, you might have a legitimate concern. Thank you, my brother. But if I just lift the lid up and let it back down, and then it come back to me, oh yeah, they be over there digging through our trash cans. Anyway, imagine Lazarus, right? He begging for crumbs. I don't think he would have been allowed to go in the rich man's trash can, right? He was designed to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Verse 21. Moreover, the dogs came and what?
Licked his sword.
That's the only comfort he got is a dog licking his sores. You ought to let a dog lick your sores before? You got to be doing bad is what I'm trying to say. We put Neosporin and Band-Aids on our sores, don't we? Not letting no dirty dog with a dirty mouth, because it must have felt good. It must have gave him. Let's think about this, brothers and sisters. This is how bad this man was doing. But he's outside of the rich man's gate, it says. He's in front of his house, right? Okay, verse 22.
And it came to pass that the beggar died, and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died, and was buried.
Okay, both of these individuals done died. Let's see which one they talk about. Well, it already done talked about one of them. It says Lazarus died, right? And he was carried into Abraham's bosom. Whatever that is, we gonna find out it's not what happened to the rich man. Let's see. The rich man died also. He got buried. I think it's safe to assume that Lazarus, hell, he might not even been buried, huh?
That's right.
Because poor people don't have no big funerals, you know that, right? They find you on the street, and you heard what he said? Put you in the hole. What up, son? So yeah, so it says here, he came to pass that the beggar died, was carried into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried, right? We don't even know if Lazarus was buried or not, right? Because it don't say, do it. We're going to assume he was. The bottom line is they both died, right? Then what happened with the rich man in verse 23?
And in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom.
Hold up now. We talking about this man said he woke up in hell. Not Hell's Kitchen, right? Hell, right? Lake of fire, a.k.a. what? What else we got for hell?
Second death.
Second death, a.k.a. you don't want to go nowhere near this place right here, right? Hell, not the grave. Not no, yeah, not no no. This ain't no purgatory here. We'll deal. Maybe we could deal with the timeline in the Q&A or something like that, because these are scriptures that we know traditional church hold on to. They go here to prove that when you die, you go to heaven. Look, the rich man died, or they use these scriptures to teach that when you die, you go to hell too.
Yeah.
Because if you die and go to heaven, somebody got to die and go to hell, right?
Right.
But we know none of this. We already done read already that Jesus said he gonna do what? Raise you up at the last day, huh?
Yep.
So we should already be good enough Bible students to know wherever this is talking about, it can't be right after they died, huh?
Nope.
It came to pass that the beggar died, was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man died also and was buried. And in hell, the rich man lifted his eyes, being in torment. Y'all know what torment is, right? And he sees Abraham, right? Whoever thought in hell you could see people? Well, we're going to see where Abraham's bosom is. Right. Whoever thought that you could see in hell? and see what other people is doing, right? That's what we reading about here, huh? He sees Abraham way afar off, it says. Not in there with him, huh? We agree, that's what it's saying. He don't see Abraham in hell, huh?
No.
He don't see Lazarus in hell with him, right?
No.
He seeth from afar off. Then what he say in verse 24?
And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame.
I'm tormented in this what, Brother Aaron?
In this flame.
You see, that's why I said people don't like to deal with this part of the Bible. But this is why we should all be here.
Right.
This is what we want to be saved from, right? Like when I heard Lee do the YOLO lesson, right? He was saying, salvation, being saved from what? Saved from this, brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't be flying out here to talk to y'all if this wasn't in the Bible. I'm just keeping it real with you. I mean, in the big picture, right? This is what we all don't want no part of, right?
Yeah.
We ain't even really seen it to its full extent yet. It says, he lifted up, first of all, it says he did what? Did he laugh?
No.
In verse 24, was he laughing?
No.
Crying.
Right.
Was he giggling?
No.
Was he just standing there saying nothing? Was he just,
No, it's crying.
was he pouting? Yeah, on Skid Row, I gave it up. I said, he crying. Y'all, we know what crying it is, kids, right? Like when your kids cry. This is a grown man that was dead. Now he alive again, and he's doing what?
Crying.
He's crying. And what did he say again?
And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water.
He want Lazarus, the one that he ignored, the one that he didn't have no mercy for. He want that individual to come and bless him, huh? Tip his finger in the,
Water.
yeah.
With my tongue.
No, think about what it's saying here. Dip the tip of his finger in water, yes?
Right.
And cool my tongue.
Yeah.
He didn't say throw no water on me. He looking for whatever. Remember, Lazarus said, I want just the crumbs.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Just give me the crumbs off the table. I'll be straight.
Right.
Now he's saying the same thing, huh?
Yeah.
Just dip your tip of your finger in some water and cool my tongue, for I am what?
Tormented in this flame.
One more time, Brother Aaron, I am what?
For I am tormented in this flame.
I'm tormented in this flame. What Abraham tell him in verse 25?
But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented.
Oh man, come on now. Resurrection to life, resurrection to damnation, huh? You had it good all the days of your life. We already read he lived sumptuously. That just sound good, don't it?
Yep.
Sumptuously. Look good all the time, right? We can add whatever we want. He was rich. He says, you had good things your whole life. Lazarus suffered evil things, but now what? The roles is reversed, huh? He's comforted, and you are what?
Tormented.
Verse 26.
And beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence.
Oh, it's telling us something about this place called hell, huh?
Right.
You can't just leave and come back like you want to, huh?
Right.
I'm going to go over there with Abraham for a couple of minutes. That ain't what we reading about here, huh, brothers and sisters? Abraham had to tell the man how it is, bruh. See, when I understand how, I heard brothers and sisters ask, how we going to be thinking as immortal beings and stuff like that? You going to keep it real. That's what you going to do. You going to tell people how it is. Just like Abraham is here. He said, it's a big gulf between us, so that they which will pass from here to you, they can't come over there, neither can they, talking about where you at, pass to us. It don't work like that, Mr. Rich Man. Verse 27.
Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house.
You see what how he talking? The rich man said, man, well go to my father's house and do what? Verse 28.
For I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment.
I mean, please go tell them where I'm at. Verse 29.
Abraham said unto him, they have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, Nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. And he said unto him, if they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead.
That ought to tell us a lot, brothers and sisters. We know Jesus rose from the dead, right?
Yeah.
And Abraham saying, shoot, they won't believe it even if a man come back from the dead. They still won't believe.
Yeah.
If they don't believe who? Moses and the prophets. Because Jesus out of his own mouth, he said, believe Moses because he what? He wrote of me. He said, if you don't believe Moses' words, you ain't going to believe my words. And that's just the way it is, brothers and sisters. Let's go further. Let's go to 1 Timothy. Let's go to 1 Timothy. Because if you just read that, you'll be like, dang, man, that brother had a gang of money? We already read he was scandalous a little bit. Well, maybe not a little bit, a lot of bit, huh? I think we all would be safe to say, and maybe not. I'm going to say all up in here, and I'm not going to even say that. I'm going to rephrase that. I'm going to rephrase this. Because I don't want to assume too much. I would like to think if we came out of our house today or yesterday or tomorrow, and it's a homeless person outside of our gate, outside of our door, laying under the back of our car, we not just going to step over him coming out of the house, right? I'm not going to turn my car on and just put the smoke all up in his face while he's laying on the ground, right? This is the world we live in, brothers and sisters. And this is the type of people God going to get, brothers and sisters. It just is what it is. But like I said, I can't say what you won't do. I only can control what I'm going to do. And Lord willing, I won't do nothing crazy like that, right? We going to see. I mean, you going to leave these boys. Man, what you doing outside my door, man?
Right.
Might be drunk, who knows what. Point being, where we going again? Timothy, huh?
1 Timothy 3.
What we do know of the rich man,
The 6th, I mean.
yeah, 1 Timothy 6, what we do know of the rich man is that he was outside Lazarus' door. Every day it say, huh? Do it say, maybe it didn't say every day. He was out there. Had to be, yeah, it can't, I mean, it just said he was outside his gate, right?
Yeah.
It didn't say, one day he was outside his gate. That's not what it said, huh?
No.
It said he was outside the gate. On the regular, I think we would have to, like Sis said back there, we'd have to assume he was out there.
Yeah.
Whenever he got there, he was there for a while, right? And it says that we can gather from the information that the rich man didn't care very much for that guy, huh? For Lazarus. Didn't bring him, hey man, you want something to eat? Man, can I help you? Man, why are you out here like this? No, he just sit there in his house, looking out the curtain. Man, he's still out there. I'm telling you, the Bible is real, brothers and sisters. These are the things that God is watching.
Yeah.
That's why I said I can't assume nothing. I'm not trying to put nobody on the spot. We've all did some scandalous stuff, huh? We all done seen somebody busted or down on their luck before and have been like, man, if you don't get your butt away from me.
Right.
Yes?
Yep.
When we see homeless people, poor people, people doing bad,
Yeah.
we've all guilty. Will we agree?
Yep.
Let's just, maybe not as much now, Lord willing, that we got some understanding in the truth.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm not like so I said, I'm not trying to put nobody on the spot. It take a lot for you to be merciful all the time and have patience all the time to deal with poor people. Obviously, it's times where you just, I get off the freeway sometimes, man. Well, I don't know. The Lord might get me for one. I call him. It's a guy. He's probably been there, man, at least 5 years. Maybe the Lord. Hey, I'm a roll with mine. Reason why I don't give him nothing because I done seen him come out his pocket. He got more money than me. I call him Freeway because he lives the what? The free way. That's what I named him, Freeway. My kids know him. Freeway. He just sit there every day. I don't care. I can get off the freeway right now. He gonna be right there. So at first I used to have a little compassion on him, you know what I mean? Then one time you just get to looking like, would you beg every day on the side of the freeway? No. So I'm not judging. It's just you gotta have wisdom, right?
Discernment.
You gotta have discernment, right? You gotta understand some things. Bottom line is I know he got some money in his pocket. I know he do, because I seen him. Now, he might not have that money that he had then, but bottom line is, I don't know what he doing with his money. I don't know. Hey, let me stop right there. 'Cause I done told you, I roll right on by a freeway nowadays.
Right.
Because I don't get it. But now, as I'm saying it, I'm like, man, I'm thinking about old Lazarus outside the rich man's gate every day, right? Like, well, anyway. 1 Timothy 6. Point is, we all deal with situations similar to that. And thank God I do try and bless more often than not.
Right.
And not try and really judge it, but hey, like I said, I ain't too wicked giving people my hard-earned money and they ain't trying to get off of their rear end and do nothing.
Right.
Now, like I said, that's what it appeared to be. It could not be. And I would be wrong for that, right? I ain't going to even sit up here. I'm just letting y'all know. So we can all be on one accord, like I said. I remember I was going to say, I hope all, I'm pretty sure, I said, I was going to say, if somebody was outside of y'all house, laying on the ground, I'm pretty sure y'all will help that. See, I can't say that, can I? Reason why I realize I can't say it, 'cause I can't even say it by myself for sure. Right? After 5 or 6 days, you're going to be talking to a landlord or anyway. We all guilty, right, of being close.
Huh?
Huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Having some thoughts that might not be accurate, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That guy that we read about, that rich man, let's see. Because I'm going here because I said, I don't want people to just think, well, just because you're rich, you're going to hell. Just because you dress nice, you're going to hell. Just because you live real good day to day, you're going to hell. That's not what it said, huh? It said the man was outside the gate, the poor man, Lazarus, and he didn't want to help him or show no mercy to him, right? But let's see what else. 1 Timothy 6, pick it up at verse 3. Let's learn something else about being rich.
3.
Verse 3. 1 Timothy 6, verse 3. When you get there, my brother, go right ahead.
If any man teach otherwise, and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Jesus Christ, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness, he is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings, surmisings,
Yeah.
perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness.
Supposing that what?
Supposing that gain is godliness. From such withdraw thyself.
Come on.
But godliness with contentment is great gain.
Godliness with contentment is great gain, not material gain, but godliness with contentment is great gain. Verse 7.
For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out.
That don't need no interpretation, huh?
Correct.
We came in here naked, all of us, right? So life can't just be about having a bunch of things, right?
Right.
It cannot be. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can what?
Carry nothing out.
In death, you're not going to take nothing with you. Verse 8.
And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content.
Got food, got clothes? Hey, you doing all right. That's what that's saying there, huh? Verse 9.
But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition.
Once again, did we write this? Do we believe this? But they, verse 9.
But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare,
What else?
and into many foolish and hurtful lusts.
Many foolish and hurtful lusts, many rich. That's what it says, huh? That they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, that's a trap, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts. And what do they do to themselves?
Which drown men in destruction and perdition.
That's what it sounded like the rich man in the Lazarus story, huh? When he drowned himself, didn't he? Verse 10, we all know this one.
For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows.
And you know what I like about this scripture is it says, is this talking about the world? We know the world, people that are rich and they don't believe in God, they live how they want to, right? We know about old Epstein, right? Just wicked as all get out, right? Then we know this scripture, it says here, for the love of money is the root of all evil. Can you hook me up when you get a chance, Brother Lorenzo? For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted, they have what?
They have erred from the faith.
They've erred, meaning they made an error in their faith. This talking about people that, church people, ain't it?
Yeah.
It ain't talking about, what's his first name? Well, I ain't gonna need his first name. This not talking about Epstein erring from the faith, is it? No, huh? It ain't talking about that type of rich person or that type of person that coveted after riches, right? But they that will be rich fall into temptation, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows, brothers and sisters. And we already know that applied to the Epsteins and other rich people in the world, right? Oh, yeah, that's right. Thank you. They err from the faith, right? Talking to the church. Get caught up. Trying to get paid, right? Or trying to obtain material wealth, right? It says you can err. Let's go further. Let's go to Proverbs 28, excuse me. Proverbs 28. So we can pretty much assume that rich man was doing more than just, even though that's all we can read about is he wouldn't look out for Lazarus. He sit there and watched a dog lick his sores in front of his house. Wouldn't give him a crumb. Wouldn't give him a piece of gum. I don't need to beat that one. I beat it enough, huh? I ain't trying to stay on that rich man head, brothers and sisters. Point I was trying to make is, I'm pretty sure he was doing more than just that. Would you agree, Brother Lorenzo? But that in itself was enough to get him in the lake, because that's all we can read about, huh? Many hurtful lusts, right? Many foolish things. I would think that's pretty foolish, don't you agree? For us to consider ourselves servants of God, trying to get in his kingdom, trying to get everlasting life, and that's how we treat some poor people that we see around in the neighborhood where we live in. we'd have a problem, wouldn't we? That would be foolish. With all the Bible we can read about looking out for the poor, right?
Yeah.
All right. Proverbs 28, verse 6, one verse. When you get there, go ahead.
Better is the poor that walketh in uprightness than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich.
One more time, my brother.
Better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich.
Though he be rich. But if you got perverse ways and you rich, a person that's poor and not perverse, who walketh in his uprightness, right? Meaning he got integrity, won't steal, right? Don't shows mercy to people,
Right.
tells the truth. He is better, it says, right, than he that is rich, that is a perverse individual, yes?
Yes.
And that's just that's just the way it is. If we can't get that out of the situation with Lazarus, right? He had to be upright. Because being poor will not get you in the kingdom. We have to stress that to the people on Skid Row.
Okay.
Because the Lord says, it's a scripture, I think it's John 5, the Beatitudes is called, where he says, blessed is the poor, right?
Yeah.
For yours is the what?
Kingdom of God.
That's right. For yours is the kingdom of God.
Right.
But you can't be poor and wicked, right?
Right.
If you can't be rich and wicked, you can't be poor and wicked and be like, well, Lord, I've been down at the bottom. You know why I was like the way I was. I didn't have nothing. So I didn't care about nobody. I didn't care about how I lived my life.
Right.
It don't work like that with this guy. And y'all all know, if you don't know, Skid Row is a wild place. We only be there in the daytime. At nighttime, boy. Go look up, what's the guy from the Fugees? Just a video that top, no, it wasn't Wyclef. What's the other guy that was with Wyclef, the other guy? Praz, yes. I believe he has a documentary where he spent one night on Skid Row. Check it out and see what he encountered at nighttime. My point is, unfortunately, just like in the world, the majority of people are wicked, Skid Row is not an exception to the rule. The majority of the people down there are buck wild, strung out on drugs, lost their mind, alcoholics, selling their bodies, talking crazy to one another, foolish with their lips. We read about that, right? Living reckless. But I guarantee you there's some down there too that, like that beggar that we read about named Lazarus, right? Point being, just being poor won't get you in the kingdom. That was the point I was trying to make. Let's move further. We almost done. Let's go to Luke chapter 12. Luke chapter 12. We're going to read 2 verses. Luke chapter 12. Let's think about this, what God is talking about here. We're kind of switching gears just a little bit. Because this is how bad hell is. Go ahead.
And I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body, and after that have no more that they can do.
Read it one more time, Brother Aaron.
And I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body, and after that have no more that they can do.
I mean, that's a food for thought, huh?
Yeah.
You got to really think about that. You got to read that 4 or 5 times probably to really understand. Don't be afraid of somebody that can kill the body, and after that they can't do nothing more than that.
Right.
Keep going.
But I will forewarn you, whom ye shall fear.
I'm going to tell you who you best be scared of. Keep going.
Fear him, which after he hath killed hath power to cast into hell. Yea, I say unto you, fear him.
And we ought to know who that him is, right?
Yep.
Let's go further. Let's go to Matthew 5. Matthew chapter 5. Let's get a little more detail. Matthew chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5, pick it up at verse 20. When you get there, Brother Aaron, go ahead.
For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven.
All we reading about here was a good lesson for me because we quoted Jesus so many times, right? Sometimes we did lessons. I've done lessons where I ain't even read no New Testament scriptures, right? Because we know that Jesus is the one who gave the word to the apostles in the past. But yet, we reading out of Christ's own mouth. We don't need to figure out what somebody else saying about Jesus. This is what they said Jesus said. I say to you, except you be more righteous, except your righteousness be more than the righteousness of religious people. Right? Because that's who the Pharisees and scribes was. If you ain't more righteous than religious people, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom. Verse 21.
Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment.
Of the judgment, huh? We know what judgment that's talking about. If we don't, it'll explain itself. Back in the day, you heard, if you kill somebody, you better beware, because you're going to be in danger of judgment for killing somebody or murdering somebody. That's really what it's talking about there. Verse 22.
But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment.
Danger of the judgment? Just being angry with your bro without a cause? Because see, if I'm going to be angry to him, he better have been done did something to me. And I better know he done did it. I better not be just making it up, thinking. You understand? That's what we're reading about here, right? I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause. I'm just angry. I just don't like him.
Yeah.
Yes? I can't stand there. Something about him. Brother ain't never did nothing to me, right? Show me love all the time, but I got some type of feelings towards him. It says, that person shall be what? In danger of the judgment, right? Go ahead.
And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raka, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire.
We'll come back and deal with that maybe another day. Skip down to verse 27. The first part is enough for us to realize that you can murder your brother in your what? Yeah, that's right. By having evil thoughts towards individuals, and God will kill you and put you in that judgment. Well, excuse me. You will be subject to being in judgment with God. And the judgment is, we gonna see. Skip down to verse 27.
Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery.
Okay, you've heard back in the day, don't sleep with another man's wife. Keep going.
But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her, hath committed adultery with her already in his heart.
No, Jesus didn't say that. Jesus said, I can just look at her and commit adultery in my mind. That's possible according to what Christ said, huh? Better watch out, huh? Verse 29.
And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out.
This is really why we're here. Because Jesus said if a man look at a woman, right, and lust after her, he said, if your right eye, you don't know how to keep your eyes in check, you can't stop looking at a woman without lusting after her, he say, do what?
Pluck it out.
Pluck it out, brothers and sisters, and cast it away from you. Keep going.
For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell.
I mean, think about that. He said it's better for you to go, and I can't squint my right eye. Because he said if your right eye offend you, right? I'm going to squint and pretend like I done plugged my left one out. He said it's better for me to go into the kingdom like this, right? Than to go in with both of them, to be going to hell with both of them, huh?
Right.
We understanding what Jesus is saying here, huh? Because he's saying if you can't get it together, you going to have a problem.
Yeah.
You better do whatever you can do. Do whatever you got to do to not be lusting like you're not supposed to be. Verse 30.
And if thy right hand offend thee,
Your what?
and if thy right hand offend thee,
Not your right hand.
and if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off.
Do what to your hand?
Cut it off.
Oh, brother, he don't really mean that, huh? Do he really mean that?
Cut it off.
Yeah, I've heard people read this and say this is not literal here. We just already read a bunch of scriptures when Jesus was saying, eat my flesh, drink my blood. We know he wasn't talking about literal there. This one right here, brothers and sisters, I don't think it's very many of us, right, that will cut our own hand, cut our own arm or our own leg off, right? Because we just, I can't stop stealing. In Saudi Arabia, they say they cut people's hands off when they steal, or their fingers. So they don't do what? So they don't steal no more. That'll make them remember every time they look at it, huh?
Yep.
If I steal again, they gonna cut the other hand off, right? Or whatever, right?
Right.
My point being, people that got diabetes and they tell them they're going to die unless they cut their foot off.
Yeah.
Do they do it?
Yeah.
Because it's better to what? Better to live with one foot than to die with what? With both of them, brothers and sisters. So we know Jesus is for real. He not making up no story here. He telling you how it is. If your right hand offend you, cut it off, cast it from you. It is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish. If that got to go, if that's what's messing you up, you get rid of it. And not that your whole body shall be cast into hell. Mark 9. Yeah, Mark 9. We got 3 more places. Well, y'all got the hand up. Mark 9. Now let's get a little more detail. Mark 9. Mark 9 verse. We're going to read the same thing again. We're going to figure out what judgment means right here. Because he's going to say the same thing. He ain't going to say no judgment this time, though. He's going to spell it out. He probably spelled it out in that last one. Mark 9, verse 43, go ahead.
And if thy hand offend thee, cut it off. It is better for thee to enter into life maimed than having 2 hands to go into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched.
That's what we just read in Matthew, correct? If your hand offend you, cut it off. It is better for thee to enter into what?
Life maimed.
And we know what type of life he talking about, huh?
Yeah.
Everlasting life, huh? That it's better to go into everlasting life maimed. We know what maimed mean, right?
Right.
If you don't, that's some homework for the daughters or something like that. I know they trying to hang in there. But maimed is a word, you don't hear very often anymore, right? Maimed is all bad. Joseph, you know what maimed mean, huh?
Name.
See, I got you. Look it up. Do some homework. It just, yeah. Maimed mean,
Missing a limb.
that's what maimed mean, without a limb. It's better to go into everlasting life. And we're going to see why it's better to go into everlasting life maimed. It's better to go into life maimed rather than having 2 hands to go with. Oh, that was you. My bad. Go ahead.
I'll start again. 43. And if thy hand offend thee, cut it off. It is better for thee to enter into life maimed than having 2 hands to go into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched.
It's never going to be what, Brother Aaron?
Say that again.
It's never going to what? The fire never going to
Never,
what?
never shall be quenched.
Never going to be quenched, huh?
Yeah.
Like when you hot and you need some water or a soda pop and you be real thirsty. You know that feeling, huh?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that feeling when you real thirsty, huh? Now we know what that rich man was talking about, huh? It says this don't never get no quench. Ain't nobody gonna show up with no Gatorade. And we can laugh all day as we want to, brothers and sisters. The God of the Bible ain't no joke, brothers and sisters. We better, we can choose to live our lives and say, oh man, it don't go down like that. That's what the world wants you to believe, huh?
Yeah.
That's what Satan wants you to believe, huh? Oh no, you only live once, brother. You dead and gone, all that go to hell. You believe in that? You believe it's a guy gonna burn you forever? I don't know. It's a big old book that's been around a long time that been telling it. It's been telling that story for a long time, and we getting close to them that last day. That's what's making it so ironic, because everybody's gonna have a last day, brothers and sisters. See, that don't mean we don't really realize. See, my last day and your last day could be different. Hopefully, we got the same last day, right?
Right.
But everybody not gonna hear Jesus' voice at the same time, right? And we, those who know better, know what that's talking about. It might come up in these last few scriptures where I can elaborate on that again. But the point being, we get back to this. That place is where he said you're gonna go into hell. It's better to go in there with one. It's better to go into life, everlasting life, with one hand than having two to go into hell, into the fire that shall never be quenched. Go ahead.
Where their worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched.
Worms, oh Lord, verse 45.
And if thy foot offend thee, cut it off. It is better for thee to enter into life
Crippled, that's what halt means. It's better to go in there crippled than what?
than having 2 feet to be cast into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched.
Keep going, 3 more.
Where their worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched.
Come on.
And if thine eye offend thee, pluck it out. It is better for thee to enter into the kingdom of God with one eye than having 2 eyes to be cast into hellfire, where their worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched.
The fire is not quenched, brothers and sisters. Revelation 14. We better figure it out. That's what the damnation mean, brothers and sisters. That's what damnation is all about. You are damned, right? Revelation 14. There's no break. There's no give me another chance. Revelation 14. Let's see what is not quenched, where the fire is not quenched, what it looked like. Revelation 14, verse 9, my brother, go ahead.
And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand.
We ain't read nothing about that, but trust me, we know what this is talking about, and we gonna make sure our kids know what this is talking about. One more time, verse 9, brother.
And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand,
What?
the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation.
And what's gonna happen to them?
And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb.
And what?
And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name.
No rest day and night, brother. Smoke ascending up forever and ever. And like when I got to this point in the lesson on Skid Row, because these scriptures was in and I added a few more for us today. I never forget, I think I've mentioned it to y'all before. We have a question and answer. And the sister asked one time, in hell, do you burn up or do you burn forever and ever? And I already knew she knew the answer, because how you know about forever and ever? I ain't never read no burning up in hell. Right? We done read the fire is not quenched.
Right.
Tormented. right? We just read here for sure. This is scripture you go to show them
Yeah,
forever and ever, right? I don't want either one of them. Would you agree?
yeah.
I don't want to be burnt up by God, and I don't want to burn forever and ever. But technically speaking, one is worse than the other, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if I catch on fire, well, I ain't going to use me. I didn't even want to use my truck. I use my truck as an example. If somebody set my truck on fire and don't nobody put the fire out, what's going to happen to it?
So burn up.
It ain't going to be what? Nothing there, huh? I might see some ashes on the ground or something like that. Is that what God is talking about doing to man?
No.
Nah, brothers and sisters. It says forever and ever, tormented day and night. Revelation 21.
I'll read it finish.
Oh, excuse me, it was one more. That's so bad, I'm trying to get out of that. Yeah, I'm glad you did mention that one, because this is our only way we're going to escape and be able to resist that mark. And we got to resist more than just that mark, just for clarification. Verse 12.
Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus.
One more time, my brother, before you talk. Here's the what?
Here is the patience of the saints.
We want to be saints, don't we?
Right.
This is our patience. Here are what?
Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus.
They're not going to take that mark, are they?
Yeah.
No matter what, huh? No matter if they have to what?
Yep.
No matter if they had cut off your whatever, huh? See, the Lord, that's how I know he ain't playing. But like I said, I remember I was going to Sunday church and they was trying to tell me, oh, that's not literal. Plucking out your eye, cutting off your hand. And you know, when you new to church or just start reading the Bible, you say, ooh, okay. That's a great example. I get it. But when you realize he's really serious, that changes your perspective about God, that he's telling you by any means necessary, you better do what you do right now while you living to get into this kingdom and not go to that lake, brothers and sisters. Now Revelation 21, yes, verse 1. Let's look at what everlasting life looked like. And we just looked at what everlasting damnation looked like. Yes, we agree that's what it looked like. I don't want to know nothing else. I don't need no more than that. You could have had me, if we just burnt up, that was enough for me. But like I said, the sister asked, do we burn forever? And of course, Brother Elijah deal with it, or whoever was the teacher that day. She didn't ask that question again. According to what the Bible say. Revelation 21 and 1, let's read it.
And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them, and be their God.
That's what I'm talking about, verse 4.
And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
That's what I'm talking about, Brother Aaron. Come on.
And there shall be no more death.
Is that what you talking about, Brother Aaron?
Absolutely.
No more death. What else?
Neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away.
Come on.
And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things.
You want to inherit all things, brothers and sisters?
Yep.
Right? And we'll stop right there. But let's go ahead. Let's finish it. Go ahead.
And I will be his God, and he shall be my son.
Verse 8. He got some daughters too. Don't think just because it say son right there, he forgot the daughters.
But
verse 8.
But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars, shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
And I didn't even mean to go that far. I think I meant to stop at 5, but that's why I was trying to jump out. But I got to looking like, yeah, I guess. Might as well say again, who gonna not be in that everlasting life, right? Or that resurrection of life. 1 Corinthians 15. And the reason why I went on the spiel about, burning up or burning forever, if you got eyes to see, even though it's talking about in a positive light here, this is the way things are, and this is the way it's going to be. Because God is going to give everybody a new body. Once they hear his voice, remember it says all that's in the grave, some to what?
Everlasting life.
And then we read in Daniel, it says some to, I think it said everlasting life, some to shame.
Eternal contempt.
That's right. In order for you to burn forever in the presence of God, he got to give you a body. Because these bodies ain't going to burn forever and ever, right?
Right.
It'll be just like my truck. If somebody set me on fire and I can't put the fire out, or somebody don't put the fire out for me, I'm going to be a crispy critter, right? I ain't going to just be standing there on fire for the rest of my life, right?
Right,
Come on now, I'm trying to get it, I know we got the little ones up in here.
right.
We had to go through all this just to show you that the Bible is trump tight and explain everything to you. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 35, go ahead.
But some man will say, how are the dead raised up? And with what body do they come?
That's a good question, right? That's the $1 million question in the lesson, right? Some man will say, how are the dead raised up? What you talking about? Ain't nobody gonna live again, brother. Look out in the grave. Everybody out there at the cemetery, they all in the dirt, huh? That's what it said. That's what they'll tell you, huh? Some man will say, how the dead get raised up? With what body do they come? What body? That's a good question, huh? Keep going.
Thou fool.
Now, what Paul say?
Thou fool.
Any man that asks something like that, Paul said, boy, thou fool, what?
That which thou sowest is not quickened, except it die.
It can't change unless you die, fool. Verse 37.
And that which thou sowest not that body that shall be.
The bodies we got now, that's not the one that's going to be. That's the one that goes into the ground is not the body that's going to be, but what?
But bear grain. It may chance of wheat or of some other grain.
Verse 38.
But God giveth it a body as it hath pleased him, and to every seed his own body.
Come on.
All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds.
Everybody got different flesh when it comes to the animals and come to man, right? We not all got the same type of flesh, right? But what?
There are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial.
Okay, that's just celestial mean heavenly, terrestrial mean earthly. There are heavenly bodies, there are also earthly bodies. Go ahead.
But the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another.
The heavenly is better. Go ahead.
There is one glory of the sun, and another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars. For one star different from another star in glory.
He getting deep. He talking about sun and the moon. They ain't different. Verse 42.
So also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption, it is raised in incorruption. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body.
There it is. If you was a natural body, we in natural bodies right now. But one day we hope to be raised a spiritual body. But rather, when I say raised as a spiritual body, really the reality is we all gonna get a spiritual body. The good and the evil gonna get that spiritual body. Keep going.
There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body.
Verse 45.
And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. Howbeit that was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and afterward that which is spiritual. The first man is of the earth, earthy. The second man is the Lord from heaven.
Come on.
As is the earthy, such are they also that are earthy.
Uh-huh.
And as is the heavenly, such are they also that are heavenly.
That's where we gonna go get to mankind. All of mankind's gonna get to at one point. There's a natural body and there's a spiritual body. That's how God is gonna be able to burn people forever and ever. And that's how his saints gonna live with him forever and ever. Because these bodies can't live with God forever and ever. 49.
And as we have borne the image of the earthy, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly.
Come on.
Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God.
No, sir.
Neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed.
And we know that's talking about the saints. Go ahead.
For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, Death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law.
But what?
But thanks be to God, which giveth us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord.
That's right. We're not doing this for nothing, brothers and sisters. And that's resurrection of life and the resurrection of damnation. And I hope you got some understanding in Jesus' name. With that being said, we'll have the regular announcements and then any other announcements that anybody in the congregation need to relay.
Sabbath announcements. We welcome you and hope today's lesson increased your knowledge of the Holy Bible. We have question and answer every Wednesday at 5 p.m. via telephone conference line. The number and access code are located at the top of the lesson, or see the live stream of question and answer at www.thykingdomcome7.com. If you are interested in being baptized, please place your name on the list at the literature table. Remember to follow the dress code when attending our services. Men should remove all hats and all head coverings during service times. Women should wear a head covering such as a hat or scarf during the service. Women should not wear tight-fitting pants or skirts or revealing clothing. Attire should be modest according to the Bible. If your child becomes restless during the Bible lesson, we encourage you to remove your child from the room until he or she has settled. Your tithes and offerings are always appreciated. Please place your tithes and offerings in an offering envelope and deposit it in the offering box. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated. Again, thank you for coming, and we hope to see you on the next Sabbath. Peace.
Peace.
Additional announcements. Again, the coffee and any food that the hotel has is not available to use. As with all Sabbath, we are to bring our own food and drinks. For the Sabbath gathering on 5/28, May 28th,
Next week.
we only have the room until 3:30 p.m. We will have to leave early that Sabbath only at 3:30 p.m. Please mark the date. Finally, the Feast of Weeks, Pentecost, is coming soon next month. The feast gathering is on June 12th, Sunday. Please start thinking about the food for the feast. As with all our feasts, the food will be potluck style. Further information and the food spread sheet will be sent out. If anyone knows in advance that they will not be attending, please let us know so we can have an accurate account of the attendees.
All right. I don't got very much. I'll mention something about Pentecost. I know you guys saying that it was being presented to y'all that y'all could possibly have the feast here, right? If y'all wanted to, the option, or either doing it at outside venue, more than likely park near where you've had it previous times,
We've
right?
had it previous before.
And so we need to find out, if Brother Fontaine is willing to stay out here, because, I mean, that's how we used to do it, you know what I mean? Like, the brother, whoever would come teach on Saturday would stay till Sunday, but,
Okay.
I can't, I don't know if that is already in the works. I mean, I guess I mentioned that to say that, didn't Fontaine roll it to the park with y'all once?
You
Yeah,
did.
you do.
Yeah, so I don't see why he'd be,
Was it the Pinnacle?
No,
I forgot which one it was,
it
but
had to be probably done another thread, because usually we'd always just listen to the lesson.
Yes.
On
That
Pentecost.
probably was the Sabbath. Yeah. Okay. That's
oh, you think it fell on a regular on that
Yeah.
sat? Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but he
But
wasn't
I mean,
part
but
of
he
this
did
at
go
one
to the,
time.
yeah, he did the lesson there and
Yeah, he
everything,
did the
right?
lesson there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't see why he would be opposed, but I mean, I know that's the brother that's scheduled to be here that on the 11th. It's fine.
Right.
So, I mentioned it to him. I'll try and give him a call probably tomorrow or
Okay.
tonight and see what his plans are.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then we can just figure it out from there.
Yeah, either way, you know what I mean? It's always good to have a lesson because, I guess, y'all can figure out a way maybe to look at the lesson at the park or whatever it is, but,
What we did in the past was we just broadcasted LA's.
right.
Just listen to LA's.
Right. Yeah, no, that'll work. Other than that, I don't got too much. With that being said, anybody got anything else? We'll close out.
So maybe just pray for
Oh, yeah.
Brother Simeon's family, or
Shoot,
way.
Debbie, everybody, huh?
Well, pray
I'm
for
about to-
everybody always. Anytime you think of us in your silence and in your moment to yourself, pray for us. Brother Simeon, this boy's a little sick. And
Okay.
I don't know if they don't know if it's Omicron or not, but he suspects that it might be. He might be sick with the COVID. Pray that Brother Simeon will get reinfected or sick.
Right.
From that. And
Absolutely.
pray for Brother Andreas.
yeah, pray for
your
my
family.
family too. Yep. Everybody gets
Everybody gets
back to
yeah.
Back to health and
Yeah.
get everybody back into the back here on the Sabbaths.
Right.
We can see them. We miss them.
So definitely we pray for the congregation and for anybody else that's going through any illnesses right now. We're supposed to lean on one another. It's kind of hard to share each other's burdens if we don't know what's going on with one another, So if you're comfortable and, might have somebody not even in the class,
Yeah. Right.
cousin or, whoever, that is sick or, because, still people catching COVID and people still dealing with that and worse than COVID, right? Cancer didn't disappear because of COVID.
Yeah.
So, you got some people dealing with some stuff. I would tell y'all, if y'all get a chance, pray for Sister Berthenia. That's Sister Monique's mama. That's our oldest living member at the class. That sister's getting close to trying to, her aspirations is to make it, I think, to 93. And I mean, I guess when you get that old, that's how you get to talking. Because I want to say, I think it was her mother that lived to that age. Or maybe a sister, don't get me wrong, I might be misquoting, but I remember Monique was telling me that, I'll just be straight up with you, brothers and sisters. When you see somebody at that age, and you look them in the eye, and you know they in pain, you know they struggling, and they look you in the face and say, I want to live, I want to say she's 89, I think. So, for to listen to somebody tell you, I want to be 4 more years like this. Not like this, but you get what I'm saying? Like, she real. She know what's up. You know what I mean? But to have that spirit to just want to live as long as you can, that's why we here trying to get salvation, right?
Right.
It's the same type of mentality, But obviously, if you can, pray for her, because I know she had went back into the hospital last week. And then she's supposed to, I didn't get an update. Might even been, that was this week, last week. Man, days be piling up. I should have checked up on her. But she might be at home, but either way, she was going through a lot. But other than that, I'm sure some other people I could think of too. But like you said, just pray for all the health of all the brothers and sisters at the class and their families and everybody else. And with that, we'll close out. I'm just being ready.
Our Father,
Father,
who art in heaven,
who art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come,
thy will be done,
thy will be done
on earth,
on earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day,
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debt,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord,
For he is good.
for he is good,
For his mercy endureth forever.
for his mercy endures forever.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
Praise the Lord God of
For
Israel,
he is good.
for he is good,
For his mercy endureth forever.
for his mercy endures forever.
For he is the King of kings.
For he is the King of kings,
The Lord of lords.
the Lord of lords,
The first.
the first,
The last.
the last,
The end.
the end,
The beginning.
the beginning,
The Alpha.
the Alpha,
The Omega.
the Omega.
And we gathered here today.
And we gather here today,
Seeking wisdom.
seeking wisdom
And understanding.
and understanding
Through the reading.
through the reading,
Hearing.
hearing,
Teaching.
teaching,
And doing.
and doing
Of your word.
of your word.
These things we ask.
These things we
In
ask
the mighty name of Jesus.
in the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Go, you get it, brother.
Hallelujah.
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 In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, I always thought that should be on the reader.
Oh, okay.